Hello, parents and colleagues, and welcome to another episode of Founder to Founder. In this episode, we went to Florida, Lakeland, Florida, to be exact, to interview Tiffany Thenor with Wonder Here. Tiffany Thenor is the co-owner and co-founder of Wonder Here. After graduating from Southeastern University with a bachelor's degree in elementary education, she taught in a Title I school for 7 years before her passion for education and strong desire to see learning done differently led her on the path to launching Wonder Here with her best friend Jessica. Tiffany focuses on leading her in-person programs alongside program director Teresa and farm director Carrie. Married to her colleague crush, Jeffrey, together they have 3 wonderful and busy little ones. When she isn't writing curriculum, blogging, or leading her team at Wonder Here, she is decorating, homeschooling her children, exploring, and writing just for fun. Everything she does and everything she is for the Lord, and she is grateful for every day that she is here to serve her community. I'm so excited for you guys to check out this episode. Enjoy. Hello, families. Welcome to another episode of Founder to Founder, and I am here with Tiffany Thenor of Wonder Here, here in Lakeland, Florida, and I'm super excited to have you. So thank you so much for being on the podcast and telling us all about the beauty that is this school, because it's beautiful.
Oh,
I have to say it's really beautiful. So just to start, please tell us your background. How did we get here? All the things.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me
Of
on
course.
your show. I am a long-time educator, so I've been teaching and I taught public education for about 8 years before my good friend and I just started dreaming and scheming about what we could do differently. I don't know if your background is in public education.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of microschool founders started in public education and
Yeah.
for one reason or another decided that it was not the right path for them. But my personality, I think I'm a little rebellious. Well, I know I am.
Yes.
I know I'm a little rebellious. And just, as our mandates in the state of Florida just continue to kind of stack up, I knew we needed to do something different. And I'm not the kind of person to complain and then do nothing. I'm the kind of person that would rather start a fire and see what happens.
Apologize later.
Yeah. So Jessica, who is my business partner, and we actually ended up our final year in public education. We were teaching on the same hallway, and so she and I, between breaks and in the margin of our day, we just started, when everyone else was just complaining and becoming frustrated, we were dreaming. And so we decided, we were going to try something new. We weren't going to call it a school. And this is before, microschools, was not a word.
Yeah.
We just knew we were going to do something different. We put in our notice that winter. And then by that next summer, we were open.
Was this 2020?
It was in 2016.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So 2016 summer, we opened with summer camp, and we had decided we just wanted school to be fun. We wanted learning to be fun. We didn't want to start a school. We just wanted learning to be fun. So we opened a Learn and Play studio, is what we called it, in downtown. And we had super fun educational summer camps. We had really fun pop-up classes for our homeschooling community. And then those homeschoolers, we started with 7 kids. Some of those kids are still here in some capacity. And their families have become family to us. But we started with just little classes that were educational and fun. I mean, slimy science, kitchen cooking, science, math, and American Girl doll literature, tea time, just the most random, fun programs we could come up with, Over time, our 7 students became 70, and they wanted it to stay, so then we were trying to figure out, okay, what does it look like to keep these kids for longer periods of time? We established as a for-profit private school, and we still maintained our part-time a la carte kind of classes, and then we allowed an option for children to remain all day, and trying to create that hybrid situation where you could come and go, you could stay, is the beautiful flexibility that we have been refining over time. But our families love options and choice and flexibility. It's why we homeschool or we choose an alternative version of school. So we are legally a private school. We are, the microschool term is a new term for us. You know, I feel like we've been operating without any kind of language. You know, people will ask, you know, like, what's Wonder Here? And like, oh, do you have like 2 hours?
Yeah.
I can tell you. I can tell you. We are a lot of things. And for a lot of people, you know, I feel like being a lot of things for a lot of people can be kind of confusing, but it is what makes us kind of special. You know, that, you know, no matter where you are, if you believe in play and project-based learning, then you have a space with us.
That's amazing. So, like, with your programs here currently, like, what do the programs look like now?
Yeah, so they definitely have evolved, you know, as we have learned and refined, and we value the feedback of our community and our staff. So currently we offer a full private school. You could come Monday through Friday, and you could attend just a traditional day, you know, 8:30 to 3. But because even if you attend a traditional day, does not mean you're receiving a traditional education.
Yes.
We like to preface that we're non-traditional. We are very play and project-based. So the kids get about 50% of that as an academic time. They spend large amounts of time in free play and in project time and in nature. We are also on a 10-acre farm, so our kids spend time in, you know, gardening and helping with the farming. They do just natural play. And then we do work cycle in lieu of like a stand and deliver kind of learning environment. Our teachers don't teach whole group instruction at all.
Ever?
No, oh no.
Okay.
We don't have whole group instruction, no. We personalize everything, and everything is done individually.
Okay.
So we have our full school. We also have homeschooling programs, so you could attend just on Monday, and then we can provide curriculum, or you could just attend on Friday, and Friday is our farm day. So you would have done all of your schooling at home and just come for basically enrichment on Friday.
Okay.
And then you can kind of a la carte enrichment classes that we have. So those are the options we have.
I will say, like, driving up here, there's so much space, and seeing all this space and grass and from the desert. It's really exciting because I know, at least for my babies and the kids that I've taught, like, they always want to be outside.
Yeah.
Let's get dirty. Let's take off our shoes. Like, so do you do a lot of, like, your teaching outside?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was like, ooh, this is amazing. It's beautiful.
Yes, we have a lot of outdoor classroom spaces. We have a courtyard with picnic tables. We have picnic tables throughout the back of the property. And then if you walk through the property into the woods, you'll see we have like stumps and like and like a semicircle where you can stand. You can do teaching out there. It is Florida, so right now is not the time you really want to be outside.
Yes.
But in a few months, you know, you will see most of our classes outside.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's up to the teacher. We don't, you know, direct when they can go outside. They have the liberty.
Okay. So what was the transition like from being in the first location to coming to this property? Because this property is beautiful.
Yeah, it was a huge change.
Yeah?
I mean, a huge change. It was a long time coming.
Yeah.
We had a hard journey transitioning from downtown to the farm because we had a lot of obstacles. Just legal obstacles to rezone a residential property.
Got it.
To become commercial school was not easy. But so there's a ton of anticipation. We talked about it for almost 2 years before we actually lived it. And so when we did move and we did a huge grand opening, our kids were ecstatic. So we have a little video of them like walking through the property on their first day. It was right before Christmas break. But we were like, we're going to do school, even if it's like a day. Now that we have a CO, we're having school on this property. So we opened school like right before they went on a big holiday. But they were so excited. They did school outdoors. They walked around. They got to meet all the animals. And it's just a huge upgrade for any of our students who've come from downtown and then they transitioned with us to the farm. Yeah, you can hear them reminisce about, you know, you remember downtown?
Yeah.
You know? It's a big upgrade.
I almost feel like even walking around for myself, like there's almost like a therapeutic vibe of like just walking around here and seeing like animals and the kids. Have you noticed like a lot of like behavior shifts or anything like that with the kids, or parents telling you like, oh my God, my kid's way happier?
Yeah. That was really the real reason why we looked for nature space, is because, you know, with 2020, I know a lot of schools were opening during 2020, but we were already open in 2020, but we were redefining because we had not valued nature learning and nature-based experiences until the research started really coming out
Yes.
about, oh, we need to be in green space, oh, we need to be in open air, you know. When we started hearing and learning more about the benefits and mental benefits and social and emotional health that comes from being outdoors, we were like, huh, you're right. We have no windows downtown. Our downtown building had no windows and no green, no grass, no windows. And so we were like, yeah, we didn't realize, you know, but it really is like you can feel the tension in the building. You know, when we were downtown, it's just like the kids are like pent up. You know, there's a lot of pressure, like a pressure cooker, you know, and then when you like open a door and open a window, you know, you can release that energy. So being here, we don't feel that pressure at all. Everywhere are big windows and they go outside and there's huge amount of space. So the kids have plenty of space to like move their body and get out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and like, even though like there's a hurricane coming in the present moment,
Right.
you have beautiful weather to do this.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually pretty jealous because in Vegas it's just hot and it's just hot and concrete.
It is hot and humid right now, and we do have a hurricane coming.
Yeah.
But it, you know, we also have a huge shaded area. So, you know, we do get a nice breeze. And come October, November, December, I mean, Florida is like the best place to be in. So.
Okay. I also wanted to ask you about, like, so again, coming from a state that doesn't have school choice, like, what has that been like, that journey out here? Because from what I see on the West Coast, that Florida is constantly iterating and changing things and trying to make things easier. Has that been the case for you as a microschool owner? Like, how do you feel about the school choice program? Is it helpful for families? Is it helpful for you?
Yeah. I tell our parents that school choice and like the scholarship programs and like Step Up is really good for families. Mm-hmm. It has not been great for business. It has been really challenging. I think in our state anyway, you know, we just have that one, you know, kind of giant managing scholarship funds.
Yes.
And so it kind of feels like a monopoly without a ton of accountability. Okay. And so to manage that large amount of funding, you know, and timelines, and people are relying on you and trusting you. And then when people are fallible, so when mistakes happen, and then there's no ownership and there's no like paper trail to like verify what's happening. And so for us, we've experienced a lot of that. We, you know, this is our 9th year as a school, and we did not accept the scholarships at our school until last year. And we opened it as a pilot. And we explained to our parents we would do it on a pilot, but we've never needed to. Our parents have always been able to we are also a low-cost school.
Yes.
So we are very low cost. We charge just enough to make it. You know, we're not out here to become rich. We want to provide a wonderful educational experience for families. So our price point mirrors that. So our families have always been able to afford our programs. But having an option that makes education free is a benefit to families. It doesn't change what we do.
Yes.
It only makes it harder because now we wait for funding for them when we never did before. So, and we still have a large staff to cover and pay. Mm-hmm. And we are very organized with our paperwork and how we manage things, especially finances. And to feel like we have no control because this third party is kind of mixed in now, makes it pretty sticky. When they also have like no accountability and there's not like a clear line of communication. Okay. So I think it's really beneficial, and I think they have the I think, you know, especially with Step Up, I think they have the potential to improve. Yeah. I think it opened really big, really fast, and they were unprepared. Okay. And I do think they've owned up to that. Schools like mine can weather because we put some safeguards in place. Okay. Schools that are smaller than ours, or maybe not as does not have as like refined as systems, they won't make it if they rely only on state funding to establish.
I'm happy you mentioned like the safeguards in place because like I know even for myself, like if I were to come out, well, like if I was here, I might not have known to put like those types of safeguards in place. Like what kind of advice can you give to Florida microschool founders of like how to protect themselves when Step Up is figuring this stuff out?
Yeah, and we actually did a big meeting with them in person, and you know, they're like, we can do a Zoom call. I was like, no, I need you to come like in person.
See my face.
Yeah, we need to talk about it. I need you to hear me.
Yeah.
So we did a meeting, and they were really gracious to come and talk. But we talked about one big thing is their funding does not arrive till September. We begin tuition in July. So the month before we start, we need our first tuition payment to come so that we can be prepared,
I see.
So something we talked about with Step Up is they said, why don't you put in writing for your parents that they will always self-pay their first 2 payments. So their July and their August payment will always be out of pocket, and then they can get it reimbursed from Step Up, but that has nothing to do with me. So that's number one. You will always pay out of pocket your first 2 payments. Then they said, I don't need anyone's permission because we run an independent program on purpose.
Yes.
So I want to make sure, Step Up understands, I'm not, in business with you, and you don't, dictate what we do here.
Yes.
So I let them know, what we are going to be doing is making sure that if payments are late with Step Up, we treat Step Up like grandma. I don't care where your tuition comes from, grandma, Step Up. It just needs to come on time.
Yes.
So if Step Up is not on time, you're out of pocket. And so we did a meeting with our parents. We had them sign an agreement, and they understand if grandma is late, I have to pay out of pocket, and then I will get a reimbursement on the other end. And so we clarified that with Step Up just to make sure, and they were like, yeah, you are. And they just kind of, they're kind of funny, but they just continue to say that they will never get into the weeds on policy. They cannot dictate policy for other schools. So they don't have anything to do with policy. You can always have your own policy. I think schools just need to remember that. It's your school. You need to make sure you take care of yourself and you protect your team financially. So, Step Up doesn't dictate your policy. So, and we did get a little pushback from parents, they're like, other schools don't, they don't do that. If Step Up doesn't pay, they wait. And that's great for other schools. Wonder Here. This is how we do it. And that's just a line we've had to draw. And it has kept us from being delayed on payments. Helps all of our teachers never miss a paycheck. And that's just real life,
That's really good to hear, because I've met one founder that actually had to close because they were waiting so long for payments to come through, and it never did. But the bills keep billing.
They do.
And I couldn't even imagine, if it wasn't having to wait several months for payments to come through while you're still rendering services.
Last year, we start school like we always do. Their first payment didn't come till January almost. It was half the year had happened. And so we're like, no, we cannot.
Wow.
So.
And that's great for other founders to hear. Do you find that a lot of parents give you a lot of pushback on paying a month in advance?
Yeah, of the parents we have, it is probably a 1% that has an issue. And that one, and I always tell our parents, if you financially are unable, we will make a way. But what we can't do is have everyone not make their payments, because then we will not be open. But we will always work with our families. If there's a financial a financial hardship or obligation, we will make it work. But we just have to create policies, and then we can make exceptions.
Okay, awesome. Wow. That was really eye-opening, because coming from Nevada, sounds great, but of course nothing is without flaw.
Right.
And speaking of locations, I was poking around on your website, and I see that there is another location in South Carolina. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we have an Anderson opening. They opened the school year.
Okay.
And so Sarah and Hannah are the owners of Wonder Here Microschool. They are wonderful, wonderful women. We recommended them. We love the women, the duo partnership. So there's 2 of them, and they share the role. And then they have just a growing team. They have about 30 families that they are serving out there. They have a really cute schoolhouse on some land that lets up to a little bit of nature, little nature trails. So it's not quite like a farm, but they have a beautiful outdoor program. They have, gardens and different things. So but it mirrors what we do. They follow our curriculum, our calendar, our structure, everything that we do, our processes, the way that we name things, the kinds of programs that we offer. And so they're doing a really great job. It does have its own personality, kind of children. They have our family culture, but then every child I have in our home has different personality, and so their location will have its own personality, but they're doing a beautiful job, and they still maintain the big overall Wonder Here culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they find you or did you find them?
Well, so no, actually, Sarah, one of the owners of Anderson, the Anderson location, is a longtime friend of Jessica and I. And that she actually asked to start Wonder Here a couple of years ago, and we said no. We told her no.
Yeah.
We are not ready to share. We were still in the process of refining our method, and we weren't ready to replicate.
Yeah.
So we actually told her, don't do it. It's hard.
Yeah, that's
do
really hard.
It's hard out here. So she did not listen, and she started a co-op. So she started a little co-op, and then and that ran for 2 years. And then she circled back, and we were at a place where we were actually just organizing to begin a franchise model. And we were meeting with her about something else because she was having some hardships with her program. And so we talked about it, and we said, we told you no, but we are in a different place, 2 years later. And if you are still interested in joining the Wonder Here family, I think you guys would be a great opportunity for us to practice what it looks like to replicate our program, and you guys can help us pilot it.
Yeah.
And so they were really excited. So they came down and spent a few weeks with us. We trained them. We did Wonder Here University.
So cool.
And then we went to them and trained their team. They rebranded. We did a big grand opening, and they are rocking and rolling, and they're doing a really great job. So we're proud of them.
That's so amazing because it sounds like we have very similar beginnings of being a public school teacher, and it's like, well, I'm not liking this. I want to do something else. But there's a lot of educators out there. They're like, I want to do something else, but I don't want to recreate the wheel, which is very hard. I did that. I don't know if that was the best choice, but I did it, and it turned out great. But I love that you have this option for educators to get out there and do something different, because I think that's what we're all looking for, something different, not that traditional model. So are you looking for more teachers that would be open to starting a Wonder Here?
We are. We received a grant actually from Bella, and yes, we love Bella. But a part of the grant that we had pitched to them was that we would partner with 3 to 5 educators, and that we would do kind of like a matching situation where they would bring a little bit of funding, because we want our educators to have a little skin in the game.
Yeah.
And then we would bring some of the funding from the grant, and together we would launch them. They would come to us for a few weeks. We would do a training. We would send them with everything that they needed. They would license our name and our curriculum, and they would be their own owner and operator, but they'd have a Wonder Here within our location. So we actually have another educator working to open in Davenport, and she's magic. She is a strong educational leadership. She just finished her Master's in Education like a week ago, so we're proud of her, but she's right now looking for her location. She hopes to open in August. And then we have a Georgia location who is
taking over the world.
Little by little. But she is an awesome educator, and she is in the process of just marketing. So she's doing pop-up classes, and just to make sure she has a community that would be able to rally around Wonder Here in the Georgia area. Okay. So we really believe in the kind of education that we spent this time to define and to create and design. But we believe in the power of educators. We don't want to run it all. We just want to equip and then release. That's kind of our thing. We don't want to be an owner of 500 Wonder Here's. I don't want to have to fly around with, I want to raise my own family. But I do believe in mentoring and equipping other educators to, be a little rebellious.
Yeah, I completely agree with the rebellion part. Especially for the kids. Like, even though we call it rebellious, it's like we see a problem, we're creating the solution. So I commend you, because it's not an easy gig. So tell me, what does the future hold for Wonder Here?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking as a team of our Lakeland location, just some different, because we believe in research, we believe in educational research, and I really think that's what we are in the business of. We are a school and a farm, and we write curriculum and all that kind of stuff. But we are that's not just what we do. I believe we're in the business of educational research. So we believe in play and project-based learning. And so we've spent a ton of time organizing how we progress monitor, the curriculum that we develop, the materials, the learning games, everything that we develop and novel studies, everything that we create is with that in mind. We don't have a high school program that we have operated yet, and we have not grown our curriculum through high school.
Okay.
So we are in the process of figuring out what that would look like, because we want to go up to high school, because people believe in play-based learning in elementary school. They think it's kind of cute, but then they want you to get like real serious about education.
Yeah.
We are serious about education.
All of it serious.
We just believe it can happen in play. So we need to prove that in high school, and we have not done that. So we need to grow to high school. We need to develop through high school, and then we need to do more research. So we want to really lean into educational research. We want to travel. Internationally to explore different developed countries and how they do their educational programs, and so we can bring a lot of that back. And then we want to be able to look at Wonder Here, kind of like, I think I was telling you how Maria Montessori, when she was developing her educational philosophy, it came with years of research and experimentation before she was ready to say, like, okay, here's like my thesis on education. And that's what we're really working to be able to prove, because we believe learning can be enjoyed and it can be fun, and it can still be meaningful. And we want to create that methodology.
That's amazing. So right now you're kindergarten through 8th, and then you're working on high school. Well, thank you so much. Like, this has been phenomenal, and I wish my kiddos were here to see this, because it's beautiful. Thank you for what you do for children, because I know you're affecting the lives of these kids in the community, and it's beautiful. So thank you for being on the podcast and sharing your story.
Well, thank you.
I feel like I need to open up a Wonder Here.
Yes. You heard it here first.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for watching the podcast with Tiffany. And if you are interested in Wonder Here, we are in Lakeland, and I'll put her information down below. What's the URL for your website? Just so everybody knows.
Wonderhere.com.
Wonderhere.com. Super easy, straightforward. And we will see you next time on the Founder to Founder podcast.